Right. Good morning, guys. My name is Ram, and welcome to this amazing live session by Great Learning. तो हाय गाइस, मैं आपका स्वागत करता हूँ इस लाइव सेशन में. Now, this live session is going to be a special live session as I am going to dedicate this live session to answering and discussing things related to user experience design. Now, this is a very upcoming field in today's market, and you may not see it right now, but in India, the number of jobs for this particular role is growing steadily and steadily. Now, other than India, if we talk about jobs abroad, obviously, there's always a little bit of a lag, like the whole trend, the work culture, everything like comes in a lag, right? That's fine. We're not here to discuss that. The point is that, things, you can see the trend growing everywhere else, and you can, exactly look at that trend and predict something for your own country, like for India, right? Okay. Now, since this session is about how to get a UX job in India, this is where I'm solely going to be concentrating. But if you guys have any question related to UX in any field or any sort of questions of that type, please feel free to leave that question in the chat because I would love to answer them and actually have a in-depth discussion with you guys. This is the whole point of this session. I would not even call this a class. Seriously, I used to call it a class, but I don't think this is a class anymore. It's just a fun discussion with me and you guys where everyone gets to learn something, right? If you guys are experts in UX looking to get a job in India, then you can always tell me stuff that I don't know myself. All right. So before I do begin, I want a confirmation from you guys whether you guys can see my screen, whether you guys can see my webcam, and whether you guys can, hear me properly. If there are any issues, let me know in the chat and I'll try to correct them. And while you guys are giving me that feedback, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys about something really awesome. Now, for all those people who are new to this live session, let me tell you that here at Great Learning, we try to come up with amazing content that will help everyone out. And it's almost, it's every time free, right? So what we decided to do was we decided to come up with our own academy where you guys can go ahead and register and, earn a certificate for yourself for also free, right? It's an amazing initiative and it's free initiative. Unlike other websites where you have to pay for courses, you don't have to pay anything over here. Just visit greatlearning.in/academy or download our app from Play Store, right? And start learning whatever you want to, right? So the first thing you'll see over here is it will ask you to select a course. So you click on select a course and you see what you really like. Now there are a lot of lists of popular courses you guys can choose from. That's totally up to you. But if you don't want to go into that, you have a lot of different choices. If you want to narrow it down to data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, IT and software. Now, IT and software has a lot of different things in it. You have ethical hacking, cybersecurity, Python fundamentals, full stack, cloud computing. You have marketing and finance if you're into that particular domain, and big data. And for us people who love designing, we have a lot of courses up for designing also, and we are planning for a lot more courses on designing that will really help you form that basis you guys really want to. Now, what are these courses going to do for you? What they're going to do is they're going to give you a very good fundamental framework for you to begin your career in a certain field. So let's say you are not very clear on what to do, then you guys can come over here, get a free certificate, don't pay anything, and learn. That's the main objective. You guys should be learning over here and then, forming a fundamental framework. So you guys know the basics, and from there, you guys can go, and build your career, like learn more stuff, get more experience, get an internship, and all of those things, right? So this is Great Learning Academy. Yeah, feel free to visit it. It is greatlearning.in/academy, or just type it in Google, man. Like, who has the time to even do this? Even though it just takes like a few seconds, but right. So now I'm going to bring up the YouTube chat because I want to see what you guys are saying. Let's see how many people are there today. All right. Cool. Fine. So let's start the roll call, right? I love doing that in the start of my session to know and, conceptualize who all are there for my session. So we have Rajnandhini Rajput. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. We have Sejal. Hi, Sejal. Hi, Rajnandhi. Hi, Ambuj. And we have our orchestra, orchestra club. So I don't think that's your full name, but cool name, orchestra. Ankit. Hi, Ankit. Hi, Prama. Hi, Ritik. Hi. Okay, fine. All right, guys. All right, so we have a first question already. So Ranj Nandini is asking, where is this course in Pune? So if you want a specific course in Pune, I cannot help you with getting a specific course in Pune. What I can do is just direct you. It would be better if you just Google that. But again, I would recommend going through free resources before you actually go for a course. Now, you might be a person who can learn from the free resources and then apply themselves. Now, all of that is something I will explain in this session, so don't worry. Okay, now what I really want to know from you guys is, since whoever is over here, I want to know from you guys, what kind of experience do you have in UX? First, are you a beginner who knows a little bit and wants to expand his field? Second, are you a fresher and heard of UX as a buzzword and are looking to see what it is? And third, whether you're an experienced professional looking to change their job profile, or fourth, you're a person who has some experience in UX and are here to see how other people are doing, right? So if you're the fourth type, I would need a lot of help from you guys. Okay, but do let me know in the chat what kind of experience and person you are, so that I get a much better idea of what my audience really is, right? So then I can explain it accordingly. So there is always a bit of a lag. So I have to wait for your answers to come in. It takes a little bit of time. All right, so answers started coming in. So we have Shoaib saying that he is a fresher. That's awesome, Shoaib. I see that you wanted to, get into this field, or you're looking at options. And we have Shrikant Reddy saying he's a beginner. All right, Shrikant Reddy. So you have some information. That's really nice. And if you guys are freshers and if you guys want in-depth, information about UX and UI, I have a lot of sessions that are recorded and on our YouTube channel that you guys can go ahead and check out. All right. So I go into some tools also if you guys want to learn that. All right. I need more answers coming in. I'm only seeing two answers, right? We have only Shoaib and Shrikant saying. Or maybe there's a lag again. All right. So we have Deepak saying he's also a beginner. We have Sejal saying she's also a beginner. All right. So I'm getting some ballpark idea of what my audience really is. So I'm assuming that the mix of all of you guys is, just beginners and freshers, right? Okay, fine. Awesome. So, guys, let me tell you this, getting a job in UX is not difficult, but that will depend on what you want, right? So there's a lot of use case scenarios that you guys have to think about. Yeah, let's say that you want to start a job in UX, but you will not be getting the salary you're aiming for in the start itself. Even if you were shifting careers, it's not going to be that easy because, again, in UX, you need a little bit of an experience. And the industry standard way of getting an experience is through doing projects yourself as well as internships, right? So that is the way you to do it. Now, I will go into this a lot more into detail about how you guys can apply for a job and how you guys need to start working towards getting a job. But before that, I want to go through all the, refresh you guys with what UX is and how is it different than UI and product design and all of those things, interactive design, instructional design, and all of those things. Okay. So let me show you the agenda for today's session. First, we'll go through what is UX. We'll learn what is UI and the difference between UX. What should you choose? What is your domain that should be? How to get a UX job, and we'll look at some average salaries, and then we'll have a Q&A in the end also. All right. So while I'm going through all of this, you guys feel free to ask me any questions, right? So I've asked you guys questions. Now it's your turn to ask me questions. And I'm seeing again a lot of answers coming in. So we have Prama saying, I'm an experienced person, but looking for a job role change. Okay, so we have the third person that I talked about, right? So that's awesome. That's really good for you, where you're looking to change your job because whatever personal reasons, and this is a good opportunity for you. Now, what to do if somebody knows what to do? Okay, you need to expand on that because Ankit, I do not know what you're saying. All right, so we have Zaran saying beginner. We have Ritik also saying fresher. We have Sushruth Nigho saying fresher. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. And we have Ankit Lakun saying hi. Well, hi, Ankit. All right. So Rajnandni is saying, can we get a certificate course if we do this course online? So you have to understand, guys, that this is not going to be an online course. This is just me doing a live session with you guys so that you guys can understand and ask all of your questions, right? This is not a live session and you're not going to get a certificate from this. I'm going to be blunt about that. If you want to get a certificate, you have to head to greatlearning.in/academy for earning a certificate. And even there, you have to, even though it's free, you have to put in your brain and, you guys gotta do the quiz, right? Okay, so now let us move on and discuss what is UX. So what I'm going to do is at every stop of these, I'm going to see what you guys have in the questions and I'm going to answer. So after what is UX, I'm going to see what questions you guys have. And similarly, after every topic, I'm going to see. All right, so let's start off with what is UX. Okay, so UX, or it is basically, let's say, I want to explain it to you in simple words, then we're going to go through all this definition. So let's take an example where you guys have a product in mind, right? And there is a person who has the same idea as you. But then, what makes the difference when you show that product to the customer, right? So let's say Coke and Pepsi. Now, I don't want to take brands in mind. This is just an example for you guys to understand. Coke and Pepsi, how do they do it? How do they deliver the product to the users, right? And which one do you guys like the most? So, if you guys like Coke or if you guys like Pepsi, what is the reason for so? You guys have to think about that, right? What makes you like it? Now there are a few things that can make you like a product. So first, the quality of the product itself, and second, it can be the marketing, and third, it can be something that makes you feel good, right? You feel like you want to do something, and that part where you have to feel good, right? That's where your user experience comes in. The way you go and use a specific product or a service. So let's come back to UX and take it an example with websites. If you go to apple.com, right, you're going to see an amazing experience. Let me actually show it to you guys. This is an example I take all the time when I'm discussing UI UX because I like them. It's very simple. You don't have to go very complicated in UX, right? You have to have simple but effective ideas. So you guys can see in apple.com, right? They give you a very smooth experience. You feel good when you go through their website, right? You want to see what they have to offer, right? You like the visuals there are. They make you feel good. So this is basically the user experience. I, as a user, when I visit apple.com, I get a specific experience. This experience is designed by dedicated user experience designers who sit down, who test different, website layouts, different theories, methodologies, and implement the final thing so that we can use it, right? So that is user experience. User experience designing is about designing an experience for the user for a service or product in the most intuitive manner, right? Now, in the most intuitive manner, so that the user feels amazing while using that particular service or feels really awesome, thinking even about it. So this is where UXD comes in. UX is user experience, right? Process. And UXD is your user experience designing, where you are actually designing the user experience. Now, this process involves a number of design theories and methodologies that have been developed over years, where they have perfected and, added more theories that go into human psyche, understand what the human really wants, and try to, give them what they want, right? So there's a thing that humans want also, and there's a thing that humans need. So I may say that I like apple.com a lot, but maybe inside, this is not what I need. So you have to think about that also. So there's a lot of different aspects. UX is a very big field, and there's a lot of different things you can do in this. Okay, we'll go through and understand all of these things. So UX is basically about providing the best experience for the users. Now, I want to give you guys a glimpse of what a user experience process can be. So in user experience process, you start asking yourself a lot of questions. You start asking yourself the questions like, who is this for? What is the demographic? What kind of impact do we want to make? Who do we compete against? What is our product slash service? What is this business about? How does the business process work? And how does the user behave while using our product or our service? There's a lot of questions that goes into the research work before you start any project in UX. You need to start with the research work. So there's a lot of things that are involved in research. You have to do surveys, you have to do preliminary tests, you have to form hypothesis, you have to do, you have to create user personas and user stories so that you get a very good idea of who your users are going to be. There's a lot of legwork in the research work that goes on. You have to understand what your competitors are doing. You have to know what theories may suit best for the particular project you're going for. So if you're going for a mobile product, then the theory that you have to implement in selling that mobile versus a service where you are designing a service where a person can come and order food, that is different. So you have to think all of those things in research work. So once you've done with the research work, you move on to the next thing, that is wireframing. So wireframing is basically you start designing the product. Now, when I am talking about UX in this particular scenario, I'm talking about software products and software services because that's what the deal is these days. Mostly software is the big deal, but obviously you can do in physical like actual products also, right? So, but I'm going to be talking in reference to websites and apps. So we have wireframing. So what is wireframing? Wireframing is the process of us, creating the layout of how an app would look like in very simple terms. It's like storyboarding for anything. So you storyboard for a movie. You don't, directly shoot a movie, right? You have to first create a plan. So wireframing is like creating a plan of where you're going to put things. You're only going to put lines in it. So it's like wires. It's just wires. There is no actual content in it. Okay. So that's wireframing. And then you go ahead and get requests and you get feedback from your stakeholders and your seniors. And then when you get that feedback, you start to implement that feedback. And once you've implemented that feedback, you get a final version of the wireframe. And in that final version of the wireframe, you go ahead and create prototypes, right? And you create these prototypes. So prototypes are basically kind of functioning apps. I mean, they're not functioning in the sense that they are able to deliver the product in the functioning sense. I mean, they have colors, they have icons, and they have certain animations that you want to implement, very rudimentary animations and all that. So they're like a higher fidelity wireframe where you're adding a lot more stuff, right? And once you create prototypes, you do the same thing again. You ask for feedback from your stakeholders and your seniors, and they give you the feedback, and then you come up with a little final version of a prototype. And that's when you go ahead and test. Now testing is a very important process of UX where you're testing it rigorously. You're testing it again and again with different demographics, with different users and people with different behavior sets and all that. So you do a lot of focus testing, you do a lot of A/B testing. So there's a lot of different types of testing that you have to implement based on the project and your requirements. So once you've done the testing, that's where you understand the feedback and you look at the insights that you've gotten from testing and you implement it, and then you finally apply what you learned. So that's probably what happened with Apple.com. They probably went through multiple iterations of the website till they finally reached this particular website after testing it many times. All right. So this is the UX process in short. Right now, before I move on to discuss what should you be thinking about UI, UX, what is the difference between them? Should you go for product design? Should you go for interactive design? Should you go for narrative design? There's a lot of different design fields out there, and you guys can feel free to ask me any questions based on that. Now, since we have ended one topic, I'm going to go look at the chat and see what you guys have to say, right? What questions you guys might have. Hmm. All right. So we have Sejal asking, what is the top college for UI? So in India, you have a lot of different colleges for, user experience and interactive design. It won't be exactly, design. But let's say that you guys want to start learning design. So don't worry, I'm going to go get into that. I actually have a whole set of what you guys should be doing, where I teach you guys about education, portfolios, and experience that you guys need to gain. Okay, what was I going to say? Right. So don't worry about that. But a good example is like schools like Symbiosis and all. You can apply for those. And there is another set of schools that I was thinking about. Let me just get myself reminded of it. What were those schools? You have School of Design जो देहरादून में है. Then there's AP Tech. There's like a lot of universities offer specific programs also. Um, but what is the best university? You're probably talking about that, right? Top 15 colleges and all that. So for that, you guys can, go for it like colleges like National Institute of Design. That is a very good college to go to. Or, you can go to Industrial Design Center that is there in Bombay, right? IDC. There's a lot of options. We'll explore those options, right? So now let me check out what other questions you guys have. All right, so we have more questions. Can you also tell us top colleges for UI UX? Right, Sage. So I'll be going into that. Don't worry. All right. So other than that, since we don't have any questions, I'm going to go and talk about UI or UX. So basically, the difference between UI and UX is that UX is in basic is about designing an experience for the users, and UI is about guiding and appeasing the user visually. Okay. So let me show this in a much better way. So let's say you have user interface first. User interface is how something looks basically, right? The colors, the typography, the icons that are being used, and all that it comes under the graphical images that are being used. They all come under this thing. What do you say? They all come under user interface. Now, when you're talking about user experience, it is something that encompasses user interface also. It is both your user interface as well as a lot of other things. Why does user interface come under UX? Now, user interface comes under UX because even the things that look good to you, right? They are a part of the experience. The colors, the typography, the icons, all of the graphical images, all of them come as an experience to us. So that's why UI is a part of UX, right? And then comes product design. So product design is like where you're managing a whole product and you're making sure every aspect of its design is happening. So it's a little bit more higher level than user experience, right? Okay, now when we're talking about different kinds of roles, you can have different kinds of roles. You can have interactive design, and you can have instructional design. So these can depend on the field. So you have interactive design, which is again for kind of like UX, and it will entail small differences. Now there is something called instructional design, right? Instructional design is where you're creating instructional material, which kind of is away from where you're creating websites and apps. You are trying to dedicate the content that is going to go. You're not concentrating on the looks of things and how things behave, but you're going to the content side where you're checking what kind of content a user might want. So maybe take an example of me. I want to go into your head and see what you guys really like, and based on that I want to come up with content, right? So that's me doing some form of instructional design. And the visual appeal in this, right, all the colors and everything, that come under user interface. So there's a lot of different rules you guys can choose, right, even in the field of user experience. All right, so now let's actually get into the core of things, how to get a user job. But before that, since we ended a topic, I want to see what other questions you have. So Zaran is saying, BSc grad fresher want to start UI UX. That's really awesome, Zaran. So you are ready to start your journey, right? And we have Bharni Akhila saying, okay, hi Bharni, big fan, thank you. Okay, so Ritik is saying stream is lagging too much. Let me just make sure that we are not lagging. All right, so it's saying my bit rate is totally fine and all. So I think it might be an issue from your side, Ritik. I'm not sure. Let me just make sure that is fine. Yeah, it is lagging a little bit. Hopefully there are no background thing that are messing it up. Let me actually close Chrome. Shouldn't be giving me that much of a trouble. Hopefully it's just my webcam that's lagging and not my connection. Anyways, I think it's beyond my technical abilities to fix that right now. So I hope you guys can, bear with the lagging camera. If it's the voice also, please let me know if my voice is also lagging because then it becomes a big problem. All right. So how to get a job step by step. Right. Okay. So guys, let us do a step-by-step process, and I hope it should be a little better now. I will check with the team. It should be a little better. All right. So guys, I want to go through the step-by-step process. Please tell me if my voice is also lagging because webcam is something that we can, avoid because you guys, I know my face is really beautiful, but it's not that necessary right now, right? Let's is the content that I want to deliver to you guys. So let me know if the voice itself is lagging, because then we really need to try a little bit harder in resolving what the issue is. Like it's showing the internet has no issue, but I think it's might be my laptop itself. Anyways, let's move on. Now, there are three things I want to concentrate on how you guys can get a job. So there is education, there is the portfolio building, and there's experience. All right. So guys, these are three major cornerstones of you guys getting a job in India. Now, you guys can take all of these three things individually and apply for a job, but it is always best if you have either a combination of these two. You must have like education or portfolio, a good portfolio, or you must have good education and good experience. That helps a lot, and you'll obviously get the portfolio. But if I had to place the importance over here, I would place importance on portfolio first, then experience, then education. I'll tell you guys why. Because portfolio is how basically the employers look at what is the work that you've done. So portfolio is basically where employers. All right, so the voice is not lagging. I am gonna continue, guys, because this is the content I want to deliver, not anything else. Okay, so portfolio, right? So portfolio is very important because this is what the employers really look at. They want to see how you think. They want to see what you've built so far. They want to see what was your whole process, because that's how they will know whether you are right for them or not. Right? Experience does matter, and education does matter, but here we're talking about relative importance. Now, after portfolio, I would say experience also matters. Now, but since a lot of you guys are freshers, this is not something you guys have to consider right now. And education also matters, right? So now let's break down and go into each of these into detail. So first, I'm going to talk about education. So as you discussed earlier and earlier, all of you guys are talking about what kind of colleges you guys should need to go to, right? So what is the best college in India? Because India has a lot of different options. Now, when I'm strictly speaking design, right, it is preferred for when you go to a college and earn a degree for yourself. Companies do prefer people who have a actual background in designing versus people who don't have a background. But that is not, again, the be all and the do all, right? It's not the end of everything, but it is important, right? So if you guys want to do masters, if you guys are freshers who maybe come out of undergraduation and you want to do post graduation, then you guys can start looking for, a designing fields, right, where you guys can apply in colleges. So first thing is college. Now, what are the best colleges in India? Now, as I said before, like there's Symbiosis, there is the IDC in Bombay, then there is the one in there is the Ahmedabad one, that is National Institute of Designing. There's a lot of designing colleges out there. Now, other than that, there is also, you guys have also, yeah. You guys have a Pearl Academy in Bombay also, so there's that one also. So you have a lot of different choices to go in college. But if you guys don't have the fiscal means, that if you guys don't have the money to go to a college and do post graduation, maybe because you're freshers and maybe your parents can't afford it, that's totally fine. There are other options for you. There are crash courses that you guys can attend. So these are like week long, month long courses where someone will take you through all the different design theories and everything of a particular topic, that is generally designing. Now, design in general is something you can study, or you can study something in specific, that is UX. But if you study design in more general, right, then you get a broader idea and you get a broader approach to the different fields that there are. Okay. And if you guys don't want to do crash courses, there's like on a lot of online short term courses that you can do self-paced, like and go to Great Learning. You can go ahead and check out a lot of courses there, and then there's a lot of other options also that you guys can go ahead and check out, where you guys can basically get certificates, and using those certificates you guys can apply for jobs also. So you guys have three options when you're talking about getting an actual certificate, right? But there's a fourth option, that is free resources. Now, Google is amazing. Now, there's a website that I really dearly love to visit. It's mostly for user interface, but it will really help you guys out. It's called material.io. You guys should go ahead and check it out. It's got a lot of free content you guys can, use to help yourself, and it's free also. And again, if you guys want to learn more about UX also, we have a lot of content on our channel, Great Learning's channel, as well as multiple blogs also you guys can check out. But again, education matters. If you and you guys need to understand one thing, that you need to have a lot of knowledge in this kind of field. Now, you can't know everything, that's totally fine, but pick a particular thing that you like, that is in UX. Maybe you are into UX and not any other type of designing, and take that and learn all the different design theories and everything there are behind it. Now, that is education. Now, coming to portfolio. So even a person who doesn't have any sort of education, from a college degree to a crash course certification or an online course certification, they still need to have a very good portfolio. Doesn't matter you have education or not, even if you have a job or not, you need a portfolio. This is like the one major mandatory thing that everyone will look for. When you're talking about portfolio, what is a portfolio? It is basically your showcase. What are your skills? What have you done before? Like, a lot of people create their own websites where they talk about the projects that they've done in past, where they will list down the specific project they've done. They'll go through all the detailed view of how they did that project, what was their research work, what was their competitive analysis, and all of those things. They'll list it down in their portfolio. So portfolios are very, very important because they tell your employer how you really think. Now, in your portfolio, you are basically going to be telling all the details, how you think also. Even if you have some rough work, right? People actually, contrary to the actual belief, people love rough work in the UX field. They want to see what kind of scribbles you are doing, not like mindless scribbles, like scribbles as in what kind of thinking you're doing when you're talking about thinking about a particular project, right? What are you trying to come up with, the ideas? So that's where the portfolio comes in. So you need to do a lot of things in portfolio. What you guys can do as freshers is look at already existing websites. Like, you guys can check out Instagram, Facebook, and Google, apple.com, and all of these websites that you guys have, or even apps. Take them and redesign them. When I say redesign them, you have to use a tool and come up with prototypes and wireframes, and come to that, use that user experience process that I told you guys about, and come to the final conclusion of what the new website should look like, right? And this can be a big project. You might think redesigning is like chill, haan, ho jayega and all that, but it's not. It's a little difficult thing because people who made these big websites and all, right, they've thought a lot, they put a lot of thought behind it. So redesigning can be, interesting to do, in better words, right? And you guys can also come up with your new ideas, like come up with a problem, come up with a hypothesis for a specific problem, and start designing a particular application on that also. So you need, in your portfolio, you can have projects that you've done in past, you can have designs that you've come up with for just like hypotheses that are out of your mind, and you can even redesign older websites. And long shot, what you guys can do is whatever employer you're going for, right? Let's say you're going for Amazon or Facebook, make a redesign of their own websites, right? So that's when things will get a little spicy. And if you guys are confident enough, you'll impress them really well. So that is one trick that, you guys should definitely try out. And always remember, whenever you're making a resume and portfolio, try to make it a little bit job specific. If it's just for a specific company, try to see what they want and try to make a resume based on that. And review and analyze. So review and analyze is basically, you need to go and check out other people's work and analyze what they did well, because you need to emulate the theories that they've designed, philosophies and theories that they've implemented. Now, that is not copying, that is taking the philosophies and understanding them, why they've applied it, and applied it in future ventures. Review means look at what the websites have done well as try to find errors and mistakes. That is important because you need to know what's, not a good design and what is a good design. If you are able to differentiate that, then you will be a very good user experience designer. So this is what I'm talking about when I come to portfolio. Now, coming to experience, not everyone needs the experience, but generally they like people who have a lot of experience, right? All right. So experience is where you guys need to sit down and tell yourself that, okay, I have all of this knowledge. I have built an awesome portfolio myself. Now I need to start applying for jobs. So when we talk about experience, there are a few things. You need to start applying for internships and junior positions. Because I'll be honest, guys, it's not easy to get those very juicy salaries in the start itself. Why? Because, you just don't get it. And it's a ladder that you guys have to climb, and that's fine. If you guys really like this field and if you're not going for money, right? I know that some people have their obligations, but if you guys are not going for money, then internships and junior positions really help in that matter, because you are learning a lot. You might not get paid enough, you might have to do two jobs at that time, but you are, getting a lot of experience. You have a mentor and you have the option of conversion. So if you're doing an internship, now this is internship is something I remember, really recommend. Try go to Indushala and try to cold apply to a lot of companies. Cold apply means like going to their websites and seeing what position they have and send them a mail. And if they don't have something open, then send them a mail, like tell them that I have this is my portfolio, this is what I really love doing. Please let me have an internship opportunity with you guys, in better words, right? Not like this. So internship is important. Junior positions, really help you out. If you get experience, you may not get paid again a lot, but it's really helpful. And you might even have a lot of mentors also out there, right? Mentors who help you understand things, how the industry works, what whether you should go for, no, you should not go for perfection, and you should go for, you need to measure what your delivery time is and what you can deliver, right? And accordingly you need to deliver. So after that, you need to decide what kind of specialization also you want to do. Are you going to be a user experience designer? Are you going to be an interactive designer? Are you going to be an instructional designer? So there are colleges and degrees for that specific thing also. So you guys can go ahead and check them out. Now, normally in India, what I would recommend is, not specializing the start itself, going for the general thing. Like go for a design degree instead of a specialization degree. Okay, that leaves you open. Now, so in a lot of companies, you will get a job as a lot of different roles combined. Like you might have UX and UI combined, because a lot of companies, right? Instead of hiring one UI, one UX guy, they'll just hire a guy who knows both UX and UI. So if you know both, then that's great for you, and people will be more willing to hire you. And if you have a lot of experience, you might even get hired as a product designer. And startups. So startups is something you guys can use as a, you know, like a like a like a cheat book. No, um, what would be a better analogy for this? Like a shortcut, not a shortcut, like it's a very good way to earn a lot of experience. So the thing with startups is that you will have to know a lot beforehand, because these guys won't have people already with UI UX. So you go for a very small startup which is like 2 3 guys and try to start working with them. Now this will require a lot of passion from your end, because you'll have to learn everything by yourself, because no one's going to be there to direct you, right? Only the people who know the business will tell you what the business process is, and you have to implement all the design philosophies and theories and UI yourself. You have to study as well as implement at the same time. So that is a little difficult, but if you guys have a lot of passion, then you learn a lot in a very small amount of time, right? Angel List is a very good place to go and check out for a lot of startups. Okay, or if you guys want, you can start your own thing, but I would not recommend that. All right. So now let me check what you guys are saying. I don't see a lot of questions. That's fine. If you guys really have any questions, because this is a session where I want to answer all your questions. I know my face is lagging a lot. And as Nanika is saying, my beautiful face is not required. You guys can just, here, listen to me. All right. Okay. So we don't have any questions. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about average salaries. Okay. So when you guys are getting a job, the salary that you get can vary. So let's say that you finish your internship, you've gotten a degree, you have made a portfolio, you have gotten an internship that has been converted into a job. Now you want to apply for another job, let's say. So the salary that you may receive will depend. It may vary on different things. It will depend on the company you are going to. It may depend on the job role you're applying for. It may depend on the country where you are in, where the job is. Now, country, again, we're talking about India specific, right? So I want to change that to which city the job is in, because in Bangalore, you may earn a lesser salary than you may earn in, Bombay. And if you are going to a very smaller city like Indore or Lucknow, there you're going to earn even less, because the standards of living are very low, and you won't have the bigger companies over there, like the big companies, the big companies. You won't have those there. And it's how well you negotiate. So it depends on really you also. If you have a lot of skills, then you can, whether you can leverage those skills or not. Like, are you'll have to basically question yourself, are you worth it, and can you get more than your worth, right? So those kind of things, again, not my domain, but I'm telling you guys. So in America, you guys will earn like $100,000 and up generally in salaries. But in India, you'll earn at least 7 lakhs and above as a UX designer. Now, this is an average. Don't quote me on this. You may earn around this, you may earn lesser than this, and you may earn more than this. But this is basically to give you guys an idea, right? This is maybe 1 or 2 years into your job as working as a UX designer. Okay. All right, so guys, these are the salaries. Let's move on. Let's do the final Q&A, then we can go ahead and end the session. All right. So we have Nanika asking, is UI UX difficult? From a BBA background, can I get a UI UX job? All right. So a good question. It's not difficult, yeah. I mean, like, it's as difficult as, the interest you have for it. It's not coding. So if you guys don't like coding, then you guys can apply for this. If you still want to work in the software field, that's an amazing thing about UI UX. Is it difficult to learn? It really depends. Like, if you're not interested in it, then it will be difficult to learn. But obviously, it's not going to be like requiring you to have the theoretical physics kind of knowledge or theoretical maths. Oh god, theoretical maths. Yeah, so those things are like really tough to understand, obviously. So UI UX isn't that tough to understand. It's kind of easy, and you guys can really get into it. Like here itself, I've given you guys a very good glimpse of what UX is, and it's easier to get into. But things that are easy are difficult to master, right? So if you guys are late into your jobs, anyways, like that doesn't matter, because once you get into the career, right, you learn so much. By the end of your career, you'll have so much knowledge that you'll be able to implement a lot of different things, right? And guys, I mean, if you get a job in India, right, and if you plan to go abroad, then it becomes really easy, because if you have a lot of experience, people will be willing to take you. and the salaries they offer abroad, and even in India, the big companies like the FANG, they offer like really really good salaries to UX. Now don't think that it's like, okay, this is something that I can do. You guys can earn a lot more than developers earn, right? Because UX matters a lot. Now in India that effect hasn't shown, but if you guys go to abroad, you'll see that UX designers earn very easily $100,000. In your third year, you'll start earning $100,000 if you're working in San Francisco or any of those big cities, right? So it's very easy to do that. And once you become a senior person doing all of this, good God, like, you just imagine, right? So salary matters. Salary wise, you guys really shouldn't even look at this. You should look at it whether you guys like it or not. Because this is a very interesting field, and I think people who are interested in can really get into it. Okay, you're from a BBA background. Can you get a UX and UI job? You can definitely get a UI UX job, right? It's not difficult at all, and yeah, but again, you have to start from somewhere, right? So you need to get some kind of idea of what UX is. So this is how I would recommend. There's a pipeline I'm going to tell you guys about. Please keep it in your mind or note it down, right? First, you guys need to look at the free resources that are available. Check it out. There'll be a lot of free resources available. You can check our channel out itself. You can check our website, and you can even check out blogs, and you have Google with you. Look at the free resources, see if you really like it or not. Oh, those, and there are a lot of books also that you guys can buy. So books like Design Everything. Yes, yeah, so the books like The Design of Everyday Things. Now you guys need to learn design itself, because that's how you can learn more UX. So free resources, look at the books, and then try to get an online certification if you can, if you have the means. And if you guys can do a crash course, that's even better. And if you can do post graduation or get a degree, that's even better, right? But it does not have to be compulsory that you get it, right? Then you need to work on your portfolio. As I told you guys, you need to revise, you need to analyze, you need to review, you need to redesign, and you need to design on based on your own hypothesis, right? So you need to make a very well built portfolio. And in UX, it matters more than anywhere else. You need to have a very good portfolio where you tell people each and everything you did, right? That is important. So once you build a portfolio, that's when you can start applying for jobs. Actually, you can start applying for jobs before that, but I would recommend after portfolio only, because everyone will look at a portfolio only. So you start from Intershala, you go to Naukri.com, and then you start cold applying, and you go to websites and you apply from there. Cold applying is when there's not a job opening, and you still send a mail to them asking them if there is a job opening, and you go to websites and you basically apply from there also. So you start applying. Now guys, be ready for rejection. You're gonna get rejected a lot, but that's totally fine. You need to start applying. Like, maybe like out of 1,000 applies you get, maybe you get 100 interviews, and out of 100 interviews, maybe you get like 3 4 offers, right? So that's with everyone, that's with every job also. Okay, but don't worry, once you've found that internship, you can go ahead and learn a lot on that job, and then get a full conversion where you become from an intern to a UX developer. Or if not, then you use that experience that you gain to go into another company. And then though you just climb your ladder, and then one day when you think you've done enough, you do another degree, or do specialization. That really helps, and you can get even a higher, more of a higher salary. Okay, so that's basically how you can get a job. I hope that answered your question, guys. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can go ahead and ask me, because we're gonna go ahead and then end this session. All right. So Zaran asks how to build a portfolio for us. Okay. So as I explained just now, Zaran, in when you're building your portfolio, right? As explained to you, if you did not watch that part, don't worry, guys. This video will be available for you guys to watch in your own time also, so you can go through what I was telling. You need to look at websites that you can redesign. You need to look at the problems, there are real life problems, and come up with new designs on them. You need to review other people's websites, see what have they done well, see what have they done wrong. And then you guys also need to basically analyze the different philosophies that are being used everywhere else. So in that way you start building a portfolio. Now when I say you have to build a portfolio, just look at one of the free website builders that can help you put up a static website. And if you guys know front end, back end, then you guys can create your own websites. But hosting it will be it'll cost you money. But look at how you can create free static websites. There are a lot of options available, and over there you guys can go ahead and paste everything. Just put all the work that you've done, mention all the projects that you've done in that portfolio, and make sure in your resume you mention that you have this portfolio. And for all the internship applies or the job applies you do, you have to send them the portfolio also, because they will just look at your portfolio and decide whether they like you or not, or whether you should be good enough for an interview or not. Okay. All right. So, Abhinay, Gitesh asks, how can I learn ethical hacking? We have a session exactly for that, guys. How to get ethical hacking. And if not, you guys can go and visit learning.in, because that's where we have a course on that. You can start learning from there. That's an amazing course, and I'm pretty sure that you will like it a lot. Okay. Check it greatlearning.in/academy, or download the app and get it from there. All right, Danika Singh, thanks for responding, sir. When is the next session? Next session for me, it is next week. But we have a lot of different trainers. You guys can go ahead and check out greatlearning.in itself. We show what session there is, and if the moderator will put the link also to check out all the next live sessions there are. There is one today at 4 o'clock also, if you guys want to check it out. Okay. All right. Fine. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed, discussing things with you. Next time I want a lot, more excited crowd. It's totally fine, yeah, it happens. But it's really awesome when you guys talk to each other, because that way we're forming a community, and that really excites me. Okay. Okay, fine. So, guys, again, check out greatlearning.in/academy. That's where you find all the free courses. And if you want, you can download the app. If not, it's fine. Totally cool. And stay tuned for my next session. My name is Ram, and I'll see you guys.